Okay, so I have a story time about a delivery that I did today. Now, I want y'all to tell me who was wrong. So, I was going to deliver at this warehouse. I got there around 10:30. My appointment was at like 12:30. So, she said basically I couldn't get a door until like my appointment time. So, she was like park at the back of the warehouse and then I'll give you a door. So, by that time I had got hungry and I was like, let me call DoorDash and order something to eat. So DoorDash was on their way, and I was like, I just got a door. I'm gonna be at door 37. Look for me at door 37, or if you get here, before then, I'll be at the back of the warehouse. Well, by the time the driver got there, I was just about to pull into dock door 37. They pulled in front, like over by the dock, handed me my food. But in the meantime, a driver had swooped around and basically backed their trailer not up to the dock, but blocking as you see in the picture, like the parking lot. And so the DoorDash had left, and the driver gets out of their truck and goes into the warehouse. And so I'm like, before he goes in the warehouse, I'm like, hey, I'm backing into door 37. So he blows me off and walks into the warehouse. Then about a minute or so later, he comes out with some type of scissors or something to cut his seal, and then he comes to my window and he's like, hey, I'm backing into door 36. I said, well, I'm backing into door 37 because by this time I pulled behind his trailer. He couldn't back into his dock because, sir, I was here first. And he was like, well, you over here getting your DoorDash. I said, well, you going in the warehouse getting your scissors. You weren't prepared to back up to your door either, sir. And you just can't block where somebody can, back into a dock just because you got to run into the warehouse real quick. And he like, so he was kind of like dumbfounded. So he was like, you know what? We can do this respectfully or disrespectfully. And I almost blinked. I'm honestly, it took me by surprise that this young guy was like, challenging me. And I'm just like, sir, it's up to you how you want to do it. And he was like, well, I could just park my truck and go home. And I'm thinking to myself, that's the best idea you got is to leave your truck in the middle of the road at this establishment and think it's still going to be here when you get back. So I said, okay. So he walks back to his truck. He grabs his phone out of the truck, walks back and forth, eventually gets in his truck. So I'm like, okay, maybe he coming to his senses. Nope. He sits there for a while. I say a quick prayer for patience. I hit my brakes. I go up to the warehouse and I ring the bell. It's taking forever to come. Finally, a guy from the warehouse is coming from around the trailers and he starts to say, well, I see. And then at that split second, it was the lady who had told me which door to go